It's like having your own personal makeup consultant for free. In today's Style File, we are dipping into your biggest beauty questions that you recently submitted on our Instagram page with a promise of solid solutions from Studio 5 style and beauty contributor Megan Moore, and you delivered on that. We received so many good questions ranging from what are the in lip colors for summer to do you have solutions for dull skin? We are dedicating today's Style File to answering those questions and more. Megan is standing by, ready to help. It's like a beauty lifeline, and I love this because it feels like we all have issues and questions that we're wondering about at some point. Do you feel like these questions kind of hit the spectrum of beauty?
Yeah, I tried to pick and choose a little bit from each category, but yeah, they're also questions that I see come up pretty often, pretty regularly, so it's definitely things that are, you know, occurring for a lot of women. All
right, question number one from one of our loyal viewers. This is a good one. It's kind of like the stranded on an island, a beauty island question. Yeah. If you lost your entire makeup collection, what is the first product that you would repurchase?
This one almost made me cry. I had to think about this one for a long time if I had to pick one. But knowing my complexion and my struggles, I have acne and I have some scarring. Concealer is the thing that I just literally cannot live without. And if I lost my concealer, I probably would cry. So I did go with that one. This is my favorite that I brought here. It's the Tarte Shape Tape, but I like the creamy formula, which is a little softer, a little bit more moisturizing. And that's the one that I love under my eyes, but also on my spots.
This is a little thicker formulation, right?
It is. It's a full coverage, so if you're dealing with lots of issues like I am, this is going to be something that you love, but I would be devastated without it.
All right, and any color tips on concealer?
So under the eyes, I like to match to the neck color. That tends to be the place where those two areas look the best, and then when we're covering spots, you're going to want to be as close to the skin color as possible, so I do have two different shades when I'm working with this product.
For the eye and for the skin. All right, this next question I actually think is adorable and very, very worthy of our time, but it's just an interesting question in the face of our kind of Botox and plastic surgery society.
Yes.
A viewer wanted to know your thoughts on frownies. First, tell us what frownies are.
Okay, so frownies have been around since the 1930s. They're like an old Hollywood secret, and the formula has not changed. The packaging's changed, but the formula has not changed. So basically, they are kind of like a cardboard patch. They are a thinner cardboard, and they're coated with kind of an adhesive on one side. And you get them wet. They're like these patches right here. You get them wet, and they become sticky, and you're gonna put them on the face, like in between the eyebrows or on the forehead, and then they dry really hard. It's almost like a cast. So essentially your forehead is like immobilized, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of it, right? It's trying to make those muscles not be able to contract.
So we wear these at night?
So you sleep in these. Now let me say, they are not the most attractive thing to be wearing to bed.
You've got wallpaper on your face.
So you have to consider that. I'm not kidding. My husband, when I tested these, he was like, okay, you know, I've seen some interesting things, but that one's up there.
He's like, you cute, Megan, you cute.
I mean, but the thing is they do work. That's why they've been around for so long. If you don't want to go down the Botox route, they work, but they have to be consistent, right? It's got to be every night you putting them on, and it takes a little bit of effort to put them on and take them off.
How do you take them off?
You have to get them wet again and then peel it off. If you try to pull it off dry, you're going to lose some layers of skin, so don't do that.
Okay, all right, frownies, there you go. Question answered. First question popped up in the 1930s. We're still talking about it, what, 90 years later?
It's still a thing.
Good job, frownies. All right, somebody wanted to know about eyebrow color, how you find the best shade, and I can speak to this personally because it's tricky, and we have, I mean, second to Texas, we have the most blondes per capita in Utah than any other state in the country, and it's hard to know what to do with your eyebrows when your hair is so light.
Yes, okay, so I like to think of it as a spectrum. So we have like our super dark hair right here, black, dark, dark, dark hair, our medium people in the middle, redheads tend to be kind of more in the middle, and then our blondes over here. So where you are, you want to take about 2 steps towards the center, bump, bump, right? So if you're a blonde, really blonde, you're going to want to work down about 2 steps towards the center. Dark hair, work up a little bit lighter, because in general, this middle ground is the most flattering on the face.
I love that.
Right? We can play more extreme over here when it's not around our face, but when it's actually on our skin, that kind of medium ground is where you're going to be most flattering.
Smart answer.
And then I would always say go a little ashier too. Warmer colors really show up on the skin. We can see red kind of behind the hair sticking onto the skin. So I think ashier blends in. So kind of work towards the middle, go with a cooler tone. That universal taupe is universal for a reason.
Okay, no surprise, a lot of questions about foundation. We've zeroed in on two specific questions. One, what's a foundation that won't oxidize? What does that mean?
Oxidize is when a foundation reacts and it kind of goes darker and more orangey.
Okay, and then your suggestions for best drugstore brands. Give it to us.
Okay, so again, when we're talking about oxidization, what happens is it's typically a reaction with oil. So it's either your own oil in your skin. Some people's chemical makeup just has that property. It could also be a product that you put on before. A serum, a skin oil, a cleanser could also react. So if you're having those problems, I would say you're going to want to switch to a foundation that is water-based. I brought two here. They look pretty identical. You wouldn't really be able to say, oh, this one is oil, this one's water. You're gonna have to go into the ingredients in the back. A lot of times you gotta peel this open. People don't even know that this is a thing. But what you're looking for is, if I can get it, is that ingredient list. And the first thing there is going to be aqua if it's a water-based foundation.
Smart.
So if it doesn't have water first, it's probably gonna be one that you'll have a hard time with if that is an issue for you.
Okay.
So this one by CoverGirl, this matte is my favorite. L'Oreal, I love this foundation, but it's not a water-based. So this one would probably give you problems if oxidization is an issue for you.
Interesting. I hadn't even considered that. Time for one more quick question. How do you know when to transition to makeup for mature skin?
All right, this one's gonna be personal, right? There's no age where you're all of a sudden, I am mature, right? So we're gonna have to play around with it. For me, the thing that happens is you kind of notice that the things you used to do don't work the way they used to, right? Oh, that foundation I used to love doesn't lay on my skin as well as it used to. Or I used to have, you know, I could wear this makeup all day and I can't do it anymore. And when you start to noticing that, that's probably when some things are changing in your skin tone and in your skin texture. And I would say stop worrying about the makeup itself and really worry about the prep more, because that's what matters once our skin starts to mature. It's our skincare and how we're prepping underneath the makeup.
You've got some products you like for that?
Yeah, I mean, anything that's going to be hydrating is usually a great option. I love a plumping primer. This one is called Plump Right Back by NYX. This is a plumping under eye balm, so you're going to put this on underneath your concealer. So anything that's going to kind of give some skin some life and plump, that's going to help everything else we put on top of it lay down better.
This was fun. We get to do this once in a while. We should do it more, but Megan does this all of the time over on her Instagram. You take viewer questions, you take them on. How can we connect?
Come find me on Instagram at BeautySnoop, or I'll have all of these linked and more at thebeautysnoop.com.
Thebeautysnoop.com. Thanks so much. That was fun.